Okay, hi Trisha, I'm back. This is the second video just to kind of keep going through our feedback here on exam 1. We finished question 20, so now on to question 21. You didn't have any work for 21 except, oh no, here's your work from 20. Yeah, so I can see, yeah, so I already talked to you about 20, but there it is. Okay, question 21, there was no work. Basically what happened here was you didn't answer anything, I think, or did you? Let's see. Yeah, you answered 10 root 3. Let's see what happened here. But again, you didn't show me any work, so it's really hard for me to guess. Bottom line is you want to take this limit, so you want to bring in the limit because the square root function itself is continuous. So yes, the function is continuous. We can bring inside the limit. So that just means plug in pi over 6 everywhere you see. So cosecant squared of pi over 6 is the same as 1 over sine squared of pi over 6, and sine of pi over 6 is 1/2, so 1 over sine squared is 1 over 1/4, which is 4. So there's that. And then tangent of pi over 6 is 1 over root 3. These root 3's cancel, so you get 4 plus 5, which is the square root of 9. So the answer is 3. I felt like you got something in there that made me understand that this 10 root 3 was making me feel like, okay, you knew something about what was going on, but I just really couldn't do much more here other than say, let's go from 0 to 0.33. Kind of being generous there probably, but I feel like you had something. Just try to show me as much work as you can, okay? All right, 22. I feel like there's not much going on. Oh, 22 was already correct. And you didn't have, oh, here's 22. Already had it correct. All right, 23, 24. Here's 23. So for 23, 6 over x minus 4, you put 0. So the limit as x goes to 4 from the right, this would have been 6 divided by 0, just like you had. But you have to think about this. As x approaches 4 from the right means, yeah, we're getting closer and closer to 4, not all the way to 4. So you can think of it as plugging in if you want, but you really want to think of it as a little bit bigger than 4. So the way I remember that is, yes, this is getting closer and closer to 0, but I put a little positive sign in the superscript there to remind myself that it's really slightly positive. Really tiny, but slightly positive. So 6 over a tiny, tiny positive number actually goes to positive infinity, not 0. 6 over 0 is not 0. 6 over 0 is undefined, but we can say does not exist as a correct answer, but that's really not a fully correct answer because when we can specify it as infinity, we should. But showing me that you got that part right, give me, I could go from 0 to 0.33 there. And 24. So again, you got these middle limits fine. So when you can plug in these middle limits, you showed me that you knew how to cancel things out, factors, which is great. But when you're going to 0, it's the same thought process I was just doing. So yes, you get 30 in the numerator, you get 0 in the denominator when you plug in 0. But what you need to remember is x is slightly, tiny, tiny positive. So you have to think about what is this thing going to be. So this thing is going to be a really tiny, small positive number, x cubed. If it's positive, it's still positive. Very tiny positive number. 0 squared, 0 plus squared, is a very, very tiny positive number. But multiplied by -6, it makes it much bigger. So together, this is a tiny positive, a tiny number, but it's slightly negative. So I write 0 with a negative sign. So 30 over a slightly negative, tiny negative number is actually negative infinity. You would go through the same procedure for part E, which asks you, what can you say about the limit as x approaches 0? Well, to do that, you need the limit as x approaches 0 from the left first. You're going to get the same answer. So then the two-sided limit is also negative infinity. But I did increase your score from 0.6 to 0.7 based on this one right here. Okay. All right. Then on 25, let's see. On 25, this one you had to come up with the equation of the tangent line first. So you did it right, how you want to go through it, but then you got some bad algebra going on here. You can't just factor a square root of 9 out of this. You have to leave it. What you do is you have to multiply it by the conjugate. So this is, I factored a 12 out first just because I don't want to keep worrying about this 12. Bring the 12 out in front of the limit. And then I have square root of 9 plus h minus 3 over h. And then I got to multiply that by square root of 9 plus h plus 3 divided by square root of 9 plus h plus 3. So that's really multiplying by 1. Doesn't change the problem, but it gets rid of the problem up here in the numerator. So when you simplify that, you end up with just an h in the numerator divided by h times the square root of 9 plus h plus 3 quantity. So the h's cancel, and then as h goes to 0, I get 1 over the square root of 9 plus 3, which is 1/6. Okay, and you can see how that works. So that then is the slope. Okay, I'm sorry, 12/6, because you have the 12 in front. So it's 1/6 times 12. So the slope is 2. Once you have the slope right, you plug it in. So you knew how to find the equation of the tangent line. You just did the wrong slope to plug in. So I increased your score from 0 to 0.67 there. Okay, that's 25. On 26, let's see, did you have any work for 26 anywhere? I don't see any work for 26. There we go, 26. So 26 is going to be a similar problem. And again, you went through everything correctly, and you got the slope here of -5, which is awesome. But then once you had the slope of -5, you plug that in, and you got that. And you just, there's very simple algebra mistake. Very simple algebra mistake here is all. Solving for y. So I increased your score from 0.5 to 0.99 out of 1. And then in 27, looking at this problem, again, it's this last piece here. So this last piece, you want to do it, and you went through all the work pretty much correctly. And then you just kind of, let's see what happened here. So you have 4.61 that's kind of fell out right here for some reason, times 10h plus h squared. So I can factor the h out. So it's, let's see, 10h plus h squared minus, bottom line is just take a look at it. You're really closely right here. You just missed this concept, this 4.61 here. So it's 4.61h minus 13.57h, and then you have the 4.61h squared here as well. Okay, so I'm sorry, 46.1h, because you multiply by 10 in here. So then you factor an h out of the numerator, you're left with 32.53 from these two guys. 46.1 minus 13.57 is 32.53. They're both times h, so that cancels that. Cancel one h here, you get 4.618. So as h goes to 0, you end up with 32.53. So your slope should have been your slope here should have been 32.53. What you put? I'm trying to remember. 3.57. So it kind of got all crazy. I'm not sure what happened on you up here. Okay, but take a look at that and rework that algebra when you get a chance. And then the rest of the 3, you got it all correct. So that's your feedback for exam 1. If you have any questions, give me a call. But you're doing good. So just hang in there, Trisha, and please don't hesitate to reach out. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.